Now we invited on stage Vinco Paulić, and he's going to talk about arboriculture in Croatia, development, state, trends and challenges. Please.
Hello everyone, thank you for this kind invitation. It's my honor to be here and present this topic. The working title of this talk was Past, Present and Future of Arboriculture in Croatia. So it's difficult in one review to encompass everything, and I will try to highlight some of the key moments, persons, and also some trends and challenges that we face in Croatia regarding the arboriculture. So, how did everything started? It's difficult to pinpoint the exact position or when the arboriculture started. We think it's related with the mansions and castles and areas around them that were landscaped, and those parks and gardens were quite important for the people that owned those estates because it showed their wealth and social positions. Also, some of those manors and castles are protected as part of cultural heritage, and our national protected areas such as arboretums, nature parks, and natural monuments and landscape parks are also important in this regard because they come from that time. As the society developed, it began with the first large public parks that were opened in this part of Europe. It was in late 18th century when the previously owned by these nobility forests started to open for public, and here is how it looked. On this, it followed with large-scale tree plantings and new squares with trees, new avenues started to develop, and it also had the consequence of development of the gardening as people that are needed to establish and maintain those urban trees. That followed later with different departments and different municipality companies that were part of this development. So they started mostly in 18th century. Some of those are quite old and have a large tradition. Arboriculture as profession also developed over time, and in the middle of last century we can follow this through professional journal, forestry journal in Croatia, that has this article that describes the conservation and treatment of old trees. So at the time it was called tree surgery, and it was quite a novelty for Croatia, but it shows that we were on par with other European countries, and these topics were also discussed and they emerged in professional journals. It was later, in 1987, that one milestone event happened. That was a seminar for tree care and protection in populated areas that was organized in Zagreb. It lasted 2 or 3 days, and it also included the workshops, presentations, and demonstration of the latest arboriculture equipment and processes that are being used, with international lectures from Germany that showed what is contemporary in arboriculture, and it was a way to learn from those international experiences. The person that organized this event, and we can say he was the spiritus movens of arboriculture in Croatia for the past 30 years, was Viktor Lohert. He sadly passed 4 years ago. I believe many of you know him. He studied at Faculty of Forestry in Zagreb, but his work was related with Germany. He worked as head of greenery department in Nuremberg, so he remained connected with Croatia, and lots of this professional experience he translated to our case. Also, it is important to distinguish the Professor Želimir Borzan, who proposed a new university study program, Urban Forestry and Arboriculture, in 1993. So for that time, that was quite a novelty, and this study program was proposed as a 5-year study, and it also included the arboriculture as part of this study program, with different topics of tree care, plant health care, production of ornamental plants, and so on. It was not established at that time, and we can say now that he was visionary and ahead of his time in his thinking. In 2005, with reform of higher education in Croatia and in whole Europe, the new university study program, Urban Forestry, Nature and Environmental Protection, was started at the Faculty of Forestry in Zagreb. It's a 5-year study, so bachelor and master, and the people that finish this study, some of those are also here in audience, are experts in urban forestry, but also in nature and environmental protection. Something also important for development of arboriculture in Croatia are professional organizations. The first one that was founded was Croatian Arboricultural Society, or HUA in Croatian, which was founded in 2003, and this organization had the goal of improving the tree care in Croatia with translation of new norms and procedures, developing workshops, delivering different kinds of presentations, and trying to raise the level of arboriculture in Croatia. In 2005, it was accepted in EAC family, and it's also important to distinguish that the Tom Vitković, the long-term secretary of HUA, was the former EAC president. Raising of standards of tree care in Croatia was also aided with the private company Nierbeger Schule with Mr. Zigert and with help of Viktor Lohert that raised the standards on arboriculture, on how it is done. They also conducted the first European tree worker certifications in Croatia and really showed us the way how this is done in Germany, and lots of experience came from this cooperation. The second organization, professional, that is present is the section for urban forestry of Croatian Forestry Society. The second organization was founded in 2019, and it gathers experts from field of urban forestry, but also from related fields, and it has the aim of defining the role of urban forestry in planning and maintaining urban woody greenery. This is part of the larger organization, which is a Croatian Forestry Society, which has a tradition of 170 years and more, and it has also the 2,700 members, so quite a larger organization, and the section for urban forestry is part of this organization. It's also part of the EAC, as it was accepted in the membership 2 years ago in Merano. The activities that are being done in section for urban forestries are widespread. They include national urban forestry conferences. We had 5 of those, and also we do different kind of tree planting, like National Urban Forestry Day and similar type of events, and also some media appearances and different kind of activities to promote the urban forestry, but also arboriculture as its integral part. So after this historical overview, we'll say something about the current state of the arboriculture in Croatia. Maybe some of you are first time in Croatia and are not really acquainted with our country. We are not really that big country, but we are quite diverse. There are 3 main geographical parts. One is lowland, the other is mountain part. Of course, this is Mediterranean part where we are now. Our population is decreasing. It's 3.8 million, and that's a 9% decrease from the last census. Croatia is quite a green country. I had a question at the pause, and we have 49% of forest and forest area as part of our land area, and also this translates to our cities, which we have 128, which are quite green. What are the main topics in urban forestry and green space research and practice in Croatia? Was investigated with this paper from my colleague, and the main topic is the green space planning and design, also the resource inventory, such as tree inventories, public perception and plant health care are the topics that are mostly being covered with these scientific papers in the last 30 years. So that is something that researchers are working with the most. Another thing that is important to notice, and that's really has a big effect on us, and it's going to have even more in the future, are strategic documents for spatial planning and development of green urban infrastructure that are being developed. So our Ministry of Spatial Planning has developed the Urban Green Infrastructure Development Program, which has a general goal of management and improvement of green infrastructure, and of course the trees are integral part of this green infrastructure. So it has developed the different strategies for green urban renewal, published some handbooks, guidances, and so on. And the aim is to have concrete activities that aim in improving the state of green infrastructure, such as implementing tree inventories in spatial planning, making the green infrastructure as part of official planning tools. Also, they plan to implement the goals regarding the canopy cover percentage for different cities and monitoring of these activities. And this program is supposed to run up to 2030. So we have 6 more years to achieve the goals that have been set in this program. So we have the top covered, we have the strategies, but we also need to have the other part of the spectrum also covered, and those are the experts or the people that are working with trees. And I want to give some information about the education of tree workers in arboriculture in Croatia. So we have 2 ways, 2 paths that we took. One is vocational education for arborists. That's part of the Croatian qualification framework. So official education for someone that finished elementary school and wants to have the career in arboriculture. We have described profession arborists. So people that enroll in this program have some key jobs that they need to work as arborists, and also the knowledge and skills that are necessary for this. This is a program that's about to start in the next school years, so we'll have a new persons enrolling, and it will be happening in different forestry schools in Croatia. Besides this, there is this ETV certification program that is also currently running as part of AVO Croatia project that aims to introduce the European Tree Working certification for the persons that are already working as professionals but don't have the certification, or they are working in some other jobs and want to change their careers. So this will be a way for them to start the career in arboriculture or improve their skills. It's also important to highlight some of the trends and the challenges that we are facing that have a quite serious impact on our everyday, and we think that it will be even more pronounced in future. Severe storms in urban environment is something that's happening quite more often. It's something that can be attributed to climate change, and we had these storms even before, but not in such frequency and not with such severity. So if we see the clouds forming and sky changing color to this dark, that means the troubles are coming, and the consequences of these events are quite dramatic, and it impairs the everyday activities of urban dwellers, and it makes the life harder for a normal person. Also, these events have the influence on trees because the consequences are sometimes tree failures or uprootings. And that also shapes the perception of people on trees because trees are more and more perceived as a hazard. And so you always have the people that are for trees and those people that don't like trees. But now the scale is shifting and we have more and more people that are concerned about the safety and want their trees removed because they don't want to have these negative consequences or property damage or something else happening. On the other scale of this spectrum are the tree planting initiatives. So people are trying to plant more and more trees, and we have also the official initiative set by the Ministry of Tourism in Croatia, and that initiative is to offset the emissions by touristic sector in Croatia, which is in line with the Green Deal strategy goal of European Union. So the Croatian economy relies heavily on tourism. Nearly 20% of our GDP comes from tourism, and those tourists mostly come with cars. So they have calculated that we need to plant 1 million trees each year in order to compensate these emissions that tourists are coming to Croatia. And that's why they have started this program that aims to plant new forests, so afforestation activities, also planting new trees in agricultural land, and also there is a third part, urban tree planting. The issues over there are starting to emerge more and more, and those activities that are happening in forests are quite popular. People like to interact and be part of those. We see that with urban tree plantings there are some difficulties. It's rather challenging to find necessary space to plant that amount of trees in urban areas. So trees are being planted in places that are unsustainable for their long-term development, and that also makes huge problems. The other thing is that quality of planting material is sometimes not really up to the standard, and it seems that the most important thing is to mark your planting and have it on a map and not to worry about the long-term development. And also there is concern about the species selection. The main discussion is, should we plant native or some exotic species? But the thing that is not being discussed, and it's quite problematic, that the concept right tree at the right place is not really being implemented. So we are planting different trees, but we are not considering their location and their long-term development as part of this discussion. I wanted to highlight the development and implementation of professional standards in arboriculture, and we see the dissemination and implementation of these tree care standards as an important part to raise our profession. We have 3 standards that are translated and are on technical editing, and they are supposed to be presented to the public at the National Agroforestry Conference later this year that will be organized by Croatian Forestry Society. And at the end, I think that our major goal should be raising awareness on the importance of urban trees that is not being discussed enough, because we see lots of unfavorable tree care practice that are being conducted, and it seems that with this practice the trees are on the second place, that something else is more important than them. So it's more important to have a wide pavement, enough parking space, or have the cheapest offer for tree pruning work. And that's something that we want to have changed, and it's not something that can happen overnight, but we feel this is the way to change and improve things. So with that in mind, thank you for your attention. I hope that I shed some light on this. If there is any questions, I'll be happy.